Hi, and welcome to A Punk with Toys. My name is Lawrence, and today we're going to take a look at the GI Joe Classified Dreadnok Gnawgahyde with Porkbelly and Yobbo, which is basically Timon and Pumbaa from The Lion King. So there you go. And to add to that, you can get those guys, and then you go pick up the Awok hyenas when they come out, and you can have the three hyenas. That's way off topic. But let's get to this because this is on topic. So anyway, here we're going to take a look at Gnawgahyde. He has his two animal companions here. This is a deluxe set. In the new box. Now I did just open Torch, so I can't say this is the first one, but I did get them in at the same time. Again, now we can see everything, but as I mentioned previously, sometimes things might get hidden behind here. So just be sure of that. Not everything you're going to see is right up there. On the side here we go. We got the wonderful artwork that we get. On the side here we get the QR code to hell and what is their file card. So back we get the actual figure. We get to see some of the things that he has. Now, I know there's a lot of reuse with this figure. But we're going to take a look at him. We're going to see how good he is. They give you a couple little shots of what to look for. And then what we're going to do is we're going to compare him to this O-ring. You know what's crazy? I've never had a Gnawgahyde, so I picked it up here at Joe Fest this year just so I would have one to compare it to this. Which pretty much makes this like a $65 figure. So more views equals more money to pay this thing off. Did I just say that? Man, I totally shilled. Anyway, if you like this type of content, if you want to see me do more G.I. Joe reviews, if you enjoy what I'm giving you, take a second, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell notification so you're notified every time I drop a G.I. Joe video. Now let's get to this, because it's what y'all came to see. Okay, got both of these guys out of their plastic prison, and let's get right into this. And I'm going to start off. We talked about the weapons. We know they're soft, but this packaging they went back to with the plastic, it holds the stuff in so hard that there's no way to get the weapons out without extremely flexing them. Like, first off, we'll take a look at the crossbow, which we already have. All right, this is the one that comes with Shadow Tracker. And this thing is as flexible and soft as the retro carded Storm Shadows. It's not any good, just the way that it flexes. Very disappointing, to be 100% honest. So we will take a look at it. It does look nice. All right, but to get it out, I had to completely flex it, which it didn't even matter. Now, as long as it stays straight when I'm taking pictures, I don't mind, but it still is an issue. So quickly, we got the paint here, just offsets it. This is, from what I understand, a counterbalance when you're shooting the bow and arrow or shooting the arrow. And then they do have the string. I know people have gotten mad at me when I mentioned, hey, you know what, we need to have one of these on the bows and arrows, and people kind of got mad. It's aesthetics. If you're taking pictures and not just standing them up there on your shelf, then you're going to want that. But this detail is really nice. And then we get the backpack. Again, I will try and remember exactly how this thing goes on here. It is off-centered for a specific reason, and that's how it sits on his back. All right. And we have the bow and arrow, or the arrow that comes with it. So you get these three that are already in. You can see where a second one goes. All right, and this it has to do with what came with Shadow Tracker. But this arrow will just slide right in, and it actually does stay. It is nice and tight, so you don't have to worry about it just falling out and losing it. Matter of fact, it's really tight when it goes in there. That's what she said. All right. Let's throw that in there for now. We have the case, and this is what came with low light. And the design on this is really nice. It is a different color, which is good. So, you got your pouches on it, your bag. You can plug it in if you want him to be carrying it, which I would be perfectly fine if that's what you're trying to do. It does open. Oh, look at that. They even put some paint apps on the inside. And this is nice because it does hold it pretty tightly, obviously. It's not going to float around in there. Doesn't have to peg in and look really cheap, like it just came from the Dollar General. Let's bring this down a little bit. Here is the sniper. I'll throw this on here really quickly. It's just supposed to go this way. So here's your sniper rifle. I love the fact that they put some green paint on it. It just adds so much to it. You have a removable magazine. You have your bipod. You have your suppressor. And obviously you saw the scope on it. But if you don't have low light, this is a really nice rifle. It is. Actually, this is actually pretty stiff, to be honest. Like this feels way different. This is way different than low lights. And what I mean by that is low lights, unfortunately, as much as I like this, because of how soft it was, the suppressor started to weigh down. I don't see this starting to weigh down at all. So it is going to stay nice and straight, as you can see. It's a little bent right there. But again, how you have to pull it out of the packaging is awful. So we will take this apart in case you don't have low light. This all comes off, right? And it just kind of pops right on in like that. We got the suppressor, bipod, and then the scope. So with him came this sniper type rifle, which to me seems more like a tranquilizer gun. I don't know why I said it like that, but again, I've never had this. I've never had Gnawgahyde. So, all right. So there's the case, and I really do like this case. Unfortunately, I wish the handle was a little bit thicker because how thick the hands are when they're carrying it, it tends to fall out. If it was a little bit thicker, it would hang on a little bit better. All right. So here we have his machete, and this can actually just clip onto his arm. And when I pulled this out, I realized, oh, okay, it actually had that. So this is the original. This is how the new one looks. You can see they recreated it, and they also made it so it can hang on his arm so he doesn't have to be carrying it every time, or he can hold it. But looking at this, they made it look nice. They give it where it's like this rope type, so it actually makes sense rather than just a plastic piece that wraps around it. Nice silver, and just having this silver rather than be all black, it does accent it. Makes it look real nice. All right. That actually goes to the bipod. This bipod is just as big as the one. It's for the O-ring. It comes with these two knives. Again, their knives aren't the greatest. They're always going to be pretty thick. They're flexible, but again, as long as they stay straight. But the fact that they're just so thick, and I understand they can't be thin, like Valivers, NECA, stuff like that, is really, really hard and rigid and pointy. But unfortunately, a little bit thinner might be nice because this doesn't look great in pictures. But the knife itself is okay when it's in the in its sheath. All right. So we've looked at all this here. So the way this goes on, it offsets, and this thing actually, I don't know why I said it like that. So this piece here, the counterweight goes right there. And then this is supposed to clip in, actually the other way, I believe. And the reason why it's so offset is because this is offset. So maybe I need to go the other way. But it's offset because the backpack is also offset. So if you're wondering that, if you have Shadow Tracker and you're wondering why that's like that, that is the reason. All right, let's take a look at Gnawgahyde. You know what? Let's look at the animals first. Okay, so first we have Yobbo, and he has no articulation, but from what I understand, he is meant to go up on his shoulder, and you don't have an issue getting him up there. So he has a cute little patch on his eye. Got the nice eye. Paint looks good. He's clearly an angry monkey. His tongue is painted. He's got a lot of paint apps from what I can see just on this figure here. But the tail is pliable that you can move it around. Can't really move the arms all that much. But I do love the little little eye patch. But all in all, he seems fine. And I think he's supposed to be able just to go hang out on his shoulder like so. Look at that. Well, fell off, but I really didn't try too hard either. All right. And now we have Porkbelly. I don't know if Porkbelly was ever named originally. And I gotta say, Classified has killed it with animals. So many of my friends that are not into GI Joe Classified are buying this stuff just for the animals. So this is what the original looks like. Again, this is the first time I'm really looking at it. I've seen it before. I had just sculpted, and at least they gave it, you know, a little white mohawk. Where this, they obviously changed the color. All right, so let's take a look at this because this is the first look I'm getting. And I gotta say, so his little tusks here are kind of soft. I don't really get that with either one of these over here. One is broken. He has a nose ring, which is painted. Looks pretty cool. Looks like his mouth opens and pops off. So be careful about that. Wow, didn't see that coming. But let's see if it pops back in. If not, then... Okay, so it just sits on that. It's perfectly fine. But the tongue is painted. Teeth are painted. You got little tusks at the bottom. He's got an earring. Look at those eyes. Eyes look good. You got a little bit of paint app throughout here. He's got the same mohawk. He's got the tail that moves around. Unfortunately, he is not pinless, but let's be honest, let's not complain too much about that. All right, so let's see what we got here. So his head does move back and forth. He can move up and down. They did not give him a second head like they did with these two guys. And if you're wondering, this is a repainted junkyard to look like my dog Roman. So arms move up and down. Okay, your legs, your front legs. Get your back legs here. And it is really smooth. And then obviously you have the body that moves back and forth. But the hooves are painted black. As you can see, I don't see any issues with the paint rub or paint messing up. And it's hard to tell. I think the body may be a different color than the legs just to kind of offset it. Or maybe it might have a little bit of wash on it. But either way, you can kind of see the detail through the mohawk. It is flexible enough that it's going to move around. And since we have them out here, you can kind of take a look, and here is Porkbelly. That's Roman, aka Junkyard. And then there is Timber. So he is bigger than these other ones. So the fact that they give you two and a lot of accessories, even though a lot are reuse. Visor on them. It's they're giving you the value for what you're paying for it. If you feel that getting these animals is worth it. All right, now let's get to Gnawgahyde here. And I'm not gonna lie, I have been waiting for this figure, like so many of us have. All right, so pop him up here. First, we'll take a look at his Crocodile Dundee hat, and he's got the teeth across it. So they're definitely giving you a good amount of paint apps here, as the cloth that goes around it, the fabric, and then you got all these teeth all painted nicely. It's not just one color, where if you look at the original here, everything is just one color. And they're about the same pliability. Go figure. All right. So, looking at this guy here, he's got his angry teeth showing. See his eyes? He almost looks like he... Oh, no, he's not. I think it's just the angle of this camera now. Eyebrows look good. He has the same mustache, goatee as Torch over there, but he has no hair. They give him a snake tattoo, and then he's got some scars on his head, and they are embroidered. So it is like a real scar where they kind of stick up. He's got an anarchy tattoo. Then he's got his leopard vest that he's wearing, along with this cool tattoo. I don't know what it is, so I'm not going to say it's really cool. Down to his gloves, this is all new molding. And I don't know how you're going to reuse it too often, but you got teeth in his bracelets along with this cheetah fur, I think, that's hanging out. On this side, you have more of a Dreadnok thing with these studded bracelets. Then you got teeth that are going to go around. And again, these things move, so usually they're tight enough, just like torches, that you don't have a problem. It stays in place. You got some smoke grenades. I don't want to get it wrong. I believe those are smoke grenades or concussion grenades. Someone might yell and get mad at me. If you look at his belt, he's got these ropes, and I like the fact that they're nice and pliable. It's even like a cheetah. Feels like it's supposed to be like cheetah here. I believe this is all cheetah. If I'm wrong, please in the comments tell me. And on the belt over here, you have other grenades. Now, as you can see, nothing is pinless here. And I know we're getting to the point that it's time to have everything pinless, but it's going to take a little bit of time. There's no doubt. Marvel Legends is still using old bucks because you can create figures with it. So no pinless joints on either the elbows or the legs. You got your pocket here. On this side, they gave him one knee pad. I know people hate those knee pads and stuff. And then you get what is the old style boots. Now, I hate these boots. I don't really care so much that they're shin guards, but they actually do prevent a lot of articulation in the legs or in the feet. You can pull it back, but can't go forward. And then down here, we have another sheath for... I know I got another knife. There we go. So I throw that in there like that. All right. So let's take a look at the articulation, and then we will go ahead and we will compare them to the original. So his head looks up about that far. He can look down that far. I know people complain he has a sniper rifle back and forth. He can move a little bit that way. T-pose, no problem. Bicep swivel. Double elbows. I believe that these are gung-ho and roadblocks elbows. Hands are nice and soft and pliable. They've really worked with that to get that softer. Here's the ab crunch. Can turn back side to side. Boom. Perfect Jean-Claude Van Damme. Drop down hips, which does help. I know people ask. It does help with getting them in vehicles so you can sit straighter, and also when you're kneeling down, different things like that. Nice and smooth figure. Really nice and smooth figure. So your thigh swivel, boot cut. We've already seen me kind of move the ankle. So, all right, that's a look at the figure. Let's compare him to the O-Ring. I know you guys have stuck around for quite some time. Quickly, looking at the arrows that he comes with, It almost feels like this thing, which even though it came out with Shadow Tracker, was actually meant to come out with him. Like maybe he was designed first, but they gave us Shadow Tracker because that looks more designed for him. All right, so let's grab our figure now. We do have dog chains and these teeth that go around them. And going back to Falcon, it's hard for him to have everything on because you also have the vest. So sometimes you put too much on, but if you're trying to recreate something, I understand. All right, so wow, I don't think I've ever really looked at this figure, and man, is that an ugly face. So has the same. Oh my God, that is hideous. God damn it. Oh. All right. He has the same mustache. Oh, I didn't even notice he has an earring right there. They did give him a tattoo. All right. They try and recreate the same face. Thank God they toned it down a little bit. So on here you can see he has a teeth necklace, but he also has these dog tags on it. Now they gave two separate pieces. All right, and I have no issues with that, but sometimes it feels like it just takes up way too much. You got the cheetah vest, which this looks way better than this one. They did a wonderful job, and I believe, if I remember correctly, they talked about looking at a real cheetah and seeing how it looked. And again, I think they did a really good job. It came off looking nice. And he does have some big ripply muscles. So over here, he has the Anarchy tattoo. Oh, no, wait. He doesn't have the Anarchy tattoo. What is that? Told you I've never seen this figure. Oh, GI Joe crossed off. And then you have the same armband, except they gave him some teeth on it. Same type of glove / gauntlet. And over here on this side, they did the same thing. They just gave him gloves. On his belt, he's holding a grenade. On the back, they gave him... He originally has 3 grenades. They gave him a knife. But over here... Sorry, when I hit the camera. They gave him a couple grenades. And then when it came down to the boot... Wow. I mean, it's hard to say they didn't just kind of look at that and go, well, we already have that ready to go. And on the side, he has a pistol, but they decided to give him a knife instead. So all in all, a good adaptation of this figure. Now let's arm him up a little bit and see how everything fits on him. So first things first, let's drop this on him. You can see where the peg kind of sits. Now, with the vest, sometimes if these pegs are not long enough, they fall out easy. But with different vests and overlays, sometimes it's actually really nice because it puts tension on the actual piece. So when you do it, when there's tension on it, it holds it on a little bit better. So you can see how this is offset. So what you want to do here is, I'm trying to figure out which way. It offsets this way. So when you're looking at them here, it's way more even. This piece here, it just opens up. I didn't realize that. So this is just going to open up. So you don't have to take off the wrist to get this on. But let's see how we're going to do this. So it actually fits on pretty nice and tight. All right. Now, I don't know if this is something real or if they only did it because it would be the easiest thing in the O-ring and they said, hey, let's just recreate it. Then we got his hat. Which is actually pretty nice. It has some nice pliability to it. It can pretty much fit on any figure you want. And this case doesn't seem to want to stay closed. I don't think, maybe I didn't have the rifle in all the way. And here is your case. So, as I was mentioning before, And now his hands are really tight, so maybe he won't be as bad as Low Light when it comes to holding the case. But carrying the case, we take Yobbo and we can throw him right up on him. And now he's walking around the Dreadnok camp with Yobbo, Porkbelly, and all his weapons. And it looks like this case is about to open, so kind of disappointing that it wants to continue to open. I don't believe I had this issue at all with low lights, but it doesn't really want to stay. So it might be something where you have to heat it up and make sure it molds to where it needs to be. All right. Now we'll pop this off. Let's see how he looks with the rifle, how easy it is to pose him with it, because he has a lot of stuff on him. And when you have a lot of stuff on, it can make it harder to pose a figure. So, all right, throw that over there. And sometimes it's easiest, if you're new to the channel, take a second, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. The reason why I do it this way, the reason why mine will run so long, is I like to give you a first look at how everything is. So you can figure out, like, there's a lot of channels that do some wonderful, wonderful reviews. But unfortunately, the biggest issue is you wonder how long did it take them to get in those wonderful poses, right? Here I'm trying to show you if it's easy, if it's hard, what needs to be done. Just a quick glimpse into it. All right. So now, I always forget which way the suppressor or the scope goes. Then you got your suppressor right there. And then we got the bipod, which is going to clip right in here. And again, the tolerances in the plastic are soft enough that you really shouldn't have to worry about it. I can tell you with low light, it is much easier to get the stock right up to his shoulder. This, not so much because of this overlay right here. But well, there you go with him. And again, as I mentioned, because of these boots, they make it difficult to get certain poses. Get them in standing poses. As I mentioned before, I am not a fan of stands. If I can avoid using a stand, I'm going to avoid using a stand. I don't want to hear how they get knocked over. If you usually stand them properly, you don't have an issue. So, there you go. There is Porkbelly. I wish this guy could stand more, a little bit better just on the ground, but he's really going to need to be on someone or something. I guess he's always going to be up on Porkbelly, if not on someone's shoulders. There you go. That is Gnawgahyde. That is the O-ring, my first Gnawgahyde O-ring, which was complete. Thank you, Joe Fest. Wow, this was a long video. Let's wrap it up. All right, so my final first thought on this Gnawgahyde Porkbelly Yobbo is that it's actually pretty good. I will say Porkbelly seems a little loose and a little soft and not nearly as tight as Timber and Junkyard. The Yobbo is just stands alone all by himself. As for Gnawgahyde, he is built on one of the bigger bucks from before. They give him a lot of reuse of weapons, but I think they really work with what he does. The sniper rifle, because obviously he's hunting. They do give him that new type of machete that can clip on or he can hold, along with a couple knives. And then you have the bow and arrow, quiver, different things like that. So it is a good figure. It is pretty soft. It moves pretty well. Not soft in a bad way, but moves pretty well. So there you go. That is your first reaction to this. Go out and get them if you want. All right, so there you have it. That is my review of Gnawgahyde Porkbelly and Yobbo, and in all honesty, it is a pretty good figure. The figures have always been really good. Even there are some negatives. The boots, I can deal with the pins, but the old buck was actually pretty good. It's really the boots that bother me. He doesn't get as much of a range of motion with this bigger buck when using the sniper. This can, the necklaces, they can be a little bit too much just because they don't really lay properly as a real one would, and a real necklaces would, so where you could wear multiple. So you're probably going to want to only have one on him if you're out there doing poses and pictures like that. If you just have him standing there in a real basic pose, something like this, then you probably won't care. I do like the fact that I can definitely tell that the plastic that they're using on this rifle is different, as it stays straight. Which is my biggest gripe about when it comes to low light, is that it sags. I'm not gonna say it, you guys can. But anyway, I'm gonna get out of here. There you go. That is Gnawgahyde, the other Dreadnok. As you know, I just did a torch, so I have all the Dreadnoks that have been released so far. But let's get to it. The social medias, we have Instagram, A Punk with Toys. We have the Facebook group page, Punks with Toys, because once you join, you're a punk with toys. And last, here we go. Take a second. You like GI Joe, you like what I'm giving you, like these reviews, it gives you a better idea of whether or not you think you should spend your hard-earned money. Take a second, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and hit that bell notification so you're notified every time I drop a GI Joe video. But now what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave you with this. You like this video, you stayed this long. Right here is the torch video, and down here is the GI Joe Classified video. All of them. Take care.